Hey guys, I'm Steven Marinaro, and welcome to In the Chair with the Salon Guy, where I interview people that inspire me so that they can inspire you. And today I'm with Lee, who is, obviously she's beautiful, but Lee, when I first met you, you had this energy about you that was just so great. And, since I've been in contact with you, since we've done events together and all sorts of things, I mean, you've come such a long way, even the short time I've met you. So I just want to thank you for being here today and taking the time out to have me talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to ask you some questions, specifically so that people can be inspired, because you're such an inspirational person. You're full of warmth and love and passion and beauty, which is obvious. Tell me about your journey as far as being a model and where it's gotten you today. Like when you first started out, because there's so many people that want to be models these days, and take us on a journey of where you first started and then to where you are now.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the career of choice these days for young girls. But it's not an easy industry to get into. But personally, I didn't want to be a model when I was a kid. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to write books. And so my journey it happened to me, and a lot of the stories when people are really successful, it said, it just happened to them. They bumped into the right person. I was in the city, and there was a guy outside having a coffee outside of one of the modeling agencies in New York City who was my manager for a very long time. And I was walking past him, he said, "Hey, you want to come upstairs and check out a contract?" So that's pretty much how it happened. So I went upstairs, and he kind of looked me up and down, did a few spins. He went into the other room. It was one of those moments where you feel like it's an hour, but it's 5 minutes. I signed a contract, and that was my first fashion week. I booked 28 shows that fashion week, and it kind of all spiraled from there. And where it's gotten me to today is I've been able to take that career in modeling, which I was able to do Project Runway and different things, but I was able to take that influence and start some of my own businesses and do mentoring for young girls coming up into the industry. So I've been able to take that career and use it to bring good and inspire people and things like that.
That's awesome. Do you feel that you had to put a lot of hustle, a lot of grind? Because sometimes people get things and it's handed to them. And with modeling, it's if you're beautiful, you have a certain look, you're in. But I mean, did it take a lot of work for you to kind of, a lot of letdowns and no's and to get where you are?
Definitely at the beginning. It's almost like how any industry, when people get into it, they kind of have to pay their dues. At the beginning, it's not always easy. People want you to work extra hours, and but then once you get into it more, they don't feel like they can kind of take as much advantage of you, and you get to kind of call the shots more. I work with a great agency right now in Philadelphia, and things are a lot easier now. Okay. So I get to call some more shots, and people bring you that extra thing for lunch when you're at the job. They want to treat you a little better, but you definitely have to put in some dues at the beginning. But I think it is true in life, when things are meant to happen for you, they are a little bit smoother. And so if you constantly feel like you're fighting the flow and you're swimming against the current, maybe you want to think about going down another path or taking things a different direction.
That's great. And that leads me to my next question is, where does your source of inspiration come from? Because you've mentioned, inspiration, and you're probably an inspiration to so many people, even myself, to young girls that want to be a model. But where do you get your source? And I know it's from several places, but I mean, tell me about how you really get your source of inspiration from.
Well, I've definitely always been a spiritual person. I have a deep connection with God, and even when I went into the modeling industry, I knew that I always wanted to stay grounded in that and kind of keep values and keep morals. And I think when you're not willing to bend and you're not willing to do things that you shouldn't do to get somewhere, I think more blessings come into your life. So you have to stay true to yourself. You have to stay connected to your source, and He'll lead you down the right path.
And a source, that could be, because there's several sources. I mean, I went to Catholic school my whole life, so right. I used to get, you're going to believe.
Right.
But, it's I have sources, whether it's spiritual. I pray every day.
Yeah.
I mean, and I tell people that they need to find a source of something that they can channel themselves with for whatever reason. Because if I don't pray on a daily basis, I don't feel right. Because it's like a protection,
It is. I feel like I'm having. It's almost like instead of this God that's wrathful or wanting to come down on you with the whip. It's almost like having a friend there, and you're like communing with this friend, and he's giving you guidance and helping you walk through your life. So I feel like when I'm in constant communication with that source, that it's giving me daily instruction, and I feel more at peace that way, because I don't want to walk my own path, because I don't know best.
Right.
And I think when I came into acceptance, I don't know best. That source knows best. And if I just stay in communication with that source and walk down the path that he has laid out for me, that I'll be going the right way. Even challenges may arise, but I know that I'm walking down the right path.
Do you feel that, is there like a routine you do every morning? Do you meditate? I've talked to a lot of people that meditate. I've tried to.
It's hard.
It's hard. And I'm thinking about certain things. I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to think about that. But then I can't spend more than 5 minutes keeping calm and quiet. But
I understand. You got a lot of things going through. You had a lot of projects.
But a lot of successful people meditate.
I do have a routine every morning. Actually, every single morning I do a affirmation.
Okay.
I do an affirmation where I state all the things that I want, and then I state all the things that I'm grateful to God for every single morning.
Really?
I always have a list of things that I'm grateful for, and some days, even days when things feel really, really challenging and I can't think of anything huge that I'm grateful for, I still know that I can walk. I have my two legs. I can hear music. I can see. So there's always something that you can find if you're looking for it to feel grateful for. And the more gratitude that you give, I do believe that the more blessing comes into your life. So I do give gratitude, and I try to keep quiet for about 15 minutes, have my cup of green tea, and stay in that quiet space before I walk into my day. I don't want to start the day frantic or freaked out. If I start the day peaceful, I do notice that the whole day goes a little easier.
Are you a big tea drinker?
Huge. I definitely have a tea obsession.
Do you ever have Long Island iced tea?
No.
No? My favorite tea is from Long Island. You should try it. It's good.
Okay.
You have to go to a bar, but anyway.
Okay.
No, but I hear that green tea is awesome for you. Is green tea really good?
Green tea is really, really good for you. It has a lot of antioxidants, and it's kind of like a better alternative for coffee, because you still get that little boost, but...
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a big coffee guy, but...
Me either.
If I can get the same energy from tea instead of coffee, I'll definitely go to tea.
It's better. Way better for you.
People that do affirmations, do you ever say the same thing it's like the same thing every day? Like, I love myself.
Yeah.
I love myself. You're going to be great. You're right.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing every day, and then maybe every 6 months when I feel like I've kind of completed that affirmation and I've assimilated some of those truths into my life, then I move on to writing a new affirmation and doing that.
Okay.
So I do shift it every 6 months, but I do try to say the same thing every day until I feel like it's hit home.
Yeah. I look in the mirror every day and I keep telling myself, you're handsome. You're handsome. No.
It's working.
It is?
Working,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No. Or she said no again.
Right.
Again, she said no. No. So let's talk about something else.
Okay.
There's so many tragedies going on in the world today. What do people, and some obviously we can't control. These lunatics out there were doing all these crazy things. But what are some of the things that you think people need to start doing on a regular basis to help better their lives and better themselves as people? And that could actually be spread through others.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, I think that gratitude is a huge thing that's missing in our world. I think we've become a very selfish society, and I don't think that we spend enough time in a state of gratitude. We're looking for things to be negative about. We go on Facebook, and all people are doing all day is complaining about all the bad things in their life. And I just want people to realize that they're putting this negative energy out into the world, and collectively as people we need to start fusing our energy together positively and putting that out into the world. I also think that people should start serving more. There's opportunities around you in your town and your world to go and serve people, because when you serve people you retain more compassion, and the more compassion you have, the less likely you are to harm other people.
Like volunteer somewhere?
Absolutely. To serve others, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. What does it take to do that, though? I feel there's more negative people out there than there are positive, and I think it depends on the person, and I just wish more people can be like how you are. And I've volunteered, I've put my life on the line, I've done things to help people. I was a fireman, police officer. I volunteered my time and did things because when I left the beauty industry, I said it's all about people. And my whole life has been, I was raised always care for others, and But it's like, where does it come from, though? I mean, does it come from your upbringing? Do you just one day you wake up or something clicks and you're like, you know what, I'm changing the way I look at my life and the way I am with people?
I do think some of that comes from my connection with God, because I am so grateful. I have so much gratitude to God that through my gratitude I want to give back to that love by loving other people. So it's like, it's a cycle of giving. So I think we have to start being more in control of our thoughts and ourselves and
Interesting.
make an effort.
Yeah. It's so funny because, making an effort to me is waking up and going to work. Right. But if people can start making an effort to wake up and say, that's why I ask these questions, like, what do people like yourself and others that I've interviewed, what do you do on a daily basis when you wake up? Is it like, I'm going to be like this today, I'm putting my A game on, or does it come natural? Like, do you wake up and go, I'm putting my A game on? Like, if you didn't do a routine or ritual, would you be a different person?
Now it comes more natural to me.
Okay.
Like when you first start doing affirmations and you first start praying, sometimes it's a little awkward, sometimes it doesn't come as natural. But then when you start doing it more and more, it becomes more of your initial reaction to wake up and feel positive. You actually retrain your brain to be different.
Yeah.
So the more you practice it, it might be a little weird at first, but the more you practice it, it'll start to become who you are.
Somebody told me practice makes perfect. And then I learned that nobody's perfect, so then I stopped practicing.
Right,
so,
right.
Let's talk about, you're an author. Let's talk about that. Why'd you start to write books?
Like I said, I always wanted to be an author when I was a kid. It wasn't my dream to be a fashion model. I always wanted to write books. I don't know, I always loved reading, and I did really good in English, and I flunked math, so I figured I'd go with what I was good at. My first book in 2011 was called A Haven for Healing. It was, I went through a lot of health struggles when I was younger, and so I learned a lot about the art of self-healing, and so I came out with that book, and it also kind of talks about my walk through the modeling industry. And then this coming year I have a book coming out called Model Behavior, which is all about like staying trim tips healthfully, because I saw a lot of things in the modeling industry, obviously, with girls being on dangerous diets, and I want people to feel like they can be full, be healthy, and feel good, and get trim. And so it has recipes and it has tips, and it's a fun book. So really I came out with these books because I want to inspire people on a broader scale and help people to learn how to heal themselves and feel good.
Is it you self-publishing, or is you have...
Yeah, but the first book was self-published, and I'm going to go that route again this time. I think it's the new trend in books is self-publishing. So you have more control over your content. And
could a self-published book be on, in Barnes & Noble and Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely.
And bestseller and all that stuff?
Of course it can.
That's awesome.
All things are possible.
About modeling and what you're saying about the dieting and stuff, everyone knows models as being very, very thin. And I've seen, especially in New York, during Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week and all sorts of, but I've been noticing a new trend, especially last season, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. I was like, do I see curves? Do I see legs? Yeah. Like a little bit, a little more meat on it?
Yeah.
Is that the way that you think designers are going, or it's still going to be models are always going to be super, super thin?
I think it depends on the designer. I think there's still a lot of designers who want bones popping out everywhere. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely some designers who are catching on to this trend that, maybe guys like a little a little curve, and also the women who are buying the clothes. These women are in their 30s and their 40s, and maybe when they're looking at these ads, they want to relate more to the woman wearing the clothes. And I think some people are starting to catch on, and I think like healthy is the new skinny. So nice. It's all about feeling good and that glow, and you do lose that when these girls are doing things that are not healthy for them. So yeah, I think that's the new trend coming. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I'm a guy who likes curves myself.
Right.
I couldn't date someone with a clothing size of -5. You know
right.
what I mean?
No, that's not good. That's not good.
About like dieting and stuff. I've talked to several people. A lot of people have challenges with diet. I've always tried to keep in shape, working out 5-6 days a week. And at one point I was like, I want to weigh as much as I can and be as big as I can. And then I started to look ridiculous. Right. And then it's not about the number. It's about feeling healthy and how you look. A lot of people I know, and they struggle from weight issues and stuff. It takes such a commitment and such a life. It's a lifestyle to every day eat a certain diet, every day work out. What are some of the tips that you can share? Say, hey, look, this is really how you start. It's not that difficult.
No, it's actually kind of like I was talking about with the affirmations, how at first it feels like a struggle. It feels like a little bit awkward. And then as you start, making yourself do it every single day, it becomes a part of who you are. It's like brushing your teeth. When you start, and you get your mouth used to, healthier foods and things like that, and you just, every single day, you just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to eat a little bit more of this. The problem is that with diets is people erase everything that they were doing, and they try to bring a whole new lifestyle in cold turkey. And that's really hard to do. People have to let up on themselves a little. I think everyone's too hard on themselves. Everyone's obsessed with this image of perfection. Mm-hmm. And they need to realize that slowly every day you can make small changes, like hydrating more, drinking that one extra glass of water, and then the next day you can drink another one, and not be so hard on yourself, because stress really is the thing that slows the metabolism down the most.
Really?
Yeah, stress releases a lot of cortisol, and cortisol is like the enemy of your metabolism. So everybody needs to calm down and cut themselves some slack and just start introducing healthier things in and eliminating the other things slowly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you a big organic eater?
I am.
Uh-huh.
I definitely believe that we are overloaded with chemicals, and so it's important to be aware of that.
It's interesting. In the cage-free and free-range and all that stuff, I've heard some people have, controversial issues about that, because they say free-range means just animals running around freely and who knows what the hell, then you're going to go and eat it, and I'm like, so some guys are saying the chemicals are better because it's better to have that than these animals running around freely because you don't know what they're rolling around in. But then I'm like, well, the chemicals are worse for you. And so what's your take on that whole thing with free range and organic and all that?
Chemicals are definitely worse for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because people, since the beginning of time, have been eating animals rolling around and whatever. So,
right.
And that's what our bodies are used to. We're not used to all these chemicals. This is a new thing. People in our grandparents' generation, they weren't bombarded with all these chemicals. They ate those, now we call it free range. That was just the norm back then. Chemicals has become the norm, and it's not good for us at all. It's not organically what our bodies were designed to be able to digest and utilize. Yeah.
Yeah, like back in the day, there wasn't a T-Rex loaded up with chemicals.
Right, exactly.
The T-Rex is running around. These guys going, that's a free-range T-Rex. We're going after that thing,
That's exactly it.
I'm going to ask you before we wrap things up.
Mm-hmm.
I like to ask a few questions off the cuff, and you can answer however you want. If you can pick one place in the world to be right now, where would it be? Besides to me. No, where would it be?
Well, this would be my first choice. Okay. Wow, that's a hard question. I think I have this image in my head. I used to go on a canoe trip every year with my dad, and he'd take me whitewater canoeing. And there was this one river in Virginia, and I just remember laying back in the river, and the water was coming over the rocks. And I remember laying there and feeling really peaceful. So I know I could pick an exotic place like Fiji, but no, I think I'd be right in that quiet place.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
With my daddy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet. What is the one runway that you've always wanted to walk, if you haven't already? But if there's one show that you're like, that's where I want to be.
Well, I've walked a ton of runways. I'm trying to think. I haven't done the Victoria's Secret show yet, so
you definitely
maybe
would fit
that
right
would
in.
be it. Maybe that would be it. I've walked all the
Milan, Fashion Week and.
I've done most all the high fashion runways.
Really?
I think the Victoria's Secret one's the only one I still got to check off my list.
Well, you would fit right in. I would go see that if I could get in there. If you weren't married, would you date me?
We've already talked about this.
So yes. All right. Good. Thank you. What is your favorite junk food? If you probably don't even eat junk food, but
Oh no.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I do. Like I said, you gotta lay off yourself sometimes and let yourself have. I do. My grandma used to make the most awesome apple pie, so I have a soft spot for apple pie.
I love.
Which I don't even know if that's junk food because it's apples technically. So
yeah, we put so much stuff in there.
I do love that.
Oh my god, I'm a huge apple pie fanatic.
Yeah, and I am a chip monster. My husband calls me we'll buy a bag of chips and he'll go upstairs and come back down and he's like, really?
The chip monster?
Chips? Yeah, I like tortilla chips. I like the salsa. I can sit there and eat a whole thing.
So it's good to know that you can be in such good shape and still enjoy some
because
snacks.
the rest of my day it's avocados.
Right.
But if I want to eat my bag of chips, I'm going to do it.
And the last question, which is the most important, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is it to resist from jumping here right now?
Very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
So
it's like an 11.
11?
It's right there.
Okay, thank you. The reason I ask these questions is, I don't know why I ask you these things. No, but I like to kid around with you and stuff, and I just want to thank you for being such a great inspiration to myself and to people that are watching, because I think it's important that people see why, people achieve certain things. And the more people I talk to that are successful, and I find it's just amazing what you all have to say. And it's all like everyone's really peaceful and about giving back and positive energy. And I'm hoping that this message gets out to more people, and especially that people get to know you more, because a lot of times they see, oh, she's a runway model, or they see me as, a runway model. No, they see me as...
Well,
no.
Naturally.
Well, no, they see me as like, so it's great to see and hear these things from you. So I really appreciate your time. And if there's anywhere where you have a website where people can find out more information about you.
Yeah, if they Google me, I have a few websites. I have, if they go to I'mABoutiqueAndWellness.com, I have a wellness blog right now. So, and if they Google, they can find my books and stuff. But I do think success is really all about being kind to people. I think that when God feels like He can trust you with a little, He trusts you with a lot. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks, guys, for watching In the Chair with the Salon Guy, and I'll see you on another episode coming soon.